All right, hello everybody. I'm Dr. Fred Jones, and I have the privilege of speaking with Mr. Lee Bradshaw. I met Lee a few months ago, and we're part of a $1 Million Mastermind hosted by Mr. Ray Edwards, and we've been working together since that time. Lee, how you doing today?
I am excellent, man. Doing good.
All right, okay, all right. So Lee, I'm doing this thing where I'm just talking with Millionaire Mastermind, talking about the Millionaire Mastermind mindset, and I just want to ask you a few questions and dive in.
hmm
Who is Lee Bradshaw?
Who is Lee Bradshaw? Well, I am a follower of Christ. I am a family man, a business owner, and a dad. So I think those are a couple of the biggies. I have a business called Simple Video School, hence the hat. And and I help people to connect with their audience and make more sales using very simple video from their phone. So that's me in a nutshell.
Well, I like it. I like it because our life informs our business. So
hmm
now that we have those foundational things about who you are there, those things feed right into your business. So tell me this. Tell me more about what do you do and why do you do what you do?
Gotcha. So essentially what I do, because I gave a little bit about what I do, but I like equipping uh, business owners. Oftentimes they're people with a personal brand. So oftentimes that's either solopreneurs or entrepreneurs. And I like to help them to clearly communicate the message that they're trying to share with their audience and serve their audience. And they do that, or I help them to do that via video and pulling out your phone and doing very simple video. So I think that's just a really strong way of communicating these days, especially with the virus stuff that happened. But it's just a really, really strong way to get your message out there and duplicate yourself in a lot of ways.
Why? Why did you get into this? Why and how did you get into this?
Yep. Sorry, I got an alarm. Turn it
Not
off.
a problem. Life happens. Huh? Life happens.
um, why did I get into it and how? So I've been in marketing for a long time, done some of this, done some of that. Saw as I was doing that over and over and over, I noticed that one of the most effective ways, or the effective ways that I was seeing results from, were from obviously one, video, but two, simple video, not super polished videos, but videos where people were talking to their audience and just being real. And I also noticed, because I was shooting a lot of that for them, and then I was also educating people on how to do that. And I started educating more people on how to do that. And at a certain point, I was going, why don't I turn this into something, more of a business, as opposed to, doing it here and doing it there and serving people in that way? Because when people started doing that, they started really connecting with their audience way better. And so that's where the concept was born. And I guess you asked why. I really like serving. I like serving my audience, and I like seeing success. And thankfully, I've been able to help other people reach that success through this.
How did you learn to think like a servant? Where did you get that kind of thinking from?
Good question. Thinking back, I always saw my mom serving other people. And I was always kind of a mama's boy in a way. Dad died when I was really young, so real close to my mom. And always saw her serving other people, always taking older folks food and helping them in any way that she could. So I kind of probably picked up on a lot of that from her. So I've not really thought about that recently. So now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's probably where I got a lot of it from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, Lee, I heard you talk about your dad, and I heard you in a previous event share your father's story. You mind giving us a thumbnail shot of that and
Yeah.
how that has impacted the life that you're living now?
Yeah, definitely. So when I was 12 years old, I was woken in the middle of the night by my mom, and she told me to get up. Something was the matter with my father. And, I was really groggy because it was, I think, 1 or 2 in the morning. Got up, went into their room, and there was ambulance outside. Lights were flashing. And I walked over. I could see the paramedics working on my dad. Finally got him on the stretcher and got him out and in the ambulance. Long story short, he wound up passing away on the way to the hospital. So it was very, very sudden, no signs of that beforehand. In fact, a few hours earlier, he and my mom were laughing and joking around. He was about a foot or so taller than my mom. So they would joke around about wrestling. You know, he was going to wrestle her and get her down, all this kind of stuff. Good dad. But yeah, just the suddenness of it. And it made me realize that life is short, and we no matter if you're 80 or 90, 80 or 90-year-olds will tell you life goes by so quickly. And we got to make a big impact while we're here. We all, when you get to a certain age, you look back and go, man, I should have done this, I should have done that. And you can have a lot of regrets. So you need to maximize the time that we've been given.
So now, Lee, you're in this $1 million mastermind, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm in there, we're in there together. Who are some of the people, and how have you learned to elevate your mindset? Or have you found that your mindset over the last few months since you've been in this program has elevated? Talk to me about your mindset around millionaires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had a lot of what my friend Walker refers to as head trash. I think Ziegler called it stinking thinking, but a lot of limitations. I can't do this. I couldn't do that. And it's like, why can't I do that? So I've been focusing on retraining myself to go, why couldn't I do this? If this person over here can do this, why couldn't I do that? And I've had to kind of, some of that, I've realized over the past year or so, and just through this group and just through some external ministry type stuff, realized a lot of stuff happened when my father passed away right then. That security that you get, that manhood that is bestowed from a father, I didn't get that. So I never heard, and my father probably told me, I'm proud of you and this and this and that, but I didn't get that instilling of that confidence that I could achieve. I could go after this. I could, make these things and be successful. And just being around other super smart entrepreneurs and other people who are doing it, and realizing also that they don't have it all together. Like I think that's the polished version that we see online is we've got this whole thing figured out and we're just going to do this step and this step and this step. And realizing, as I've been rubbing shoulders with very smart people, they're kind of walking through it step by step. And the more of that I've seen, the more it makes me go, okay, cool, I can do this too, because obviously I don't have it figured out. And I think a lot of other people don't either. So, but yeah, I mean, I've learned a ton from you, and just you rubbing shoulders with you, listening to you, and listening to a lot of your statements and you cool sayings and stuff. And it just made me kind of chew on that. And then also, there's just been a couple of specific people. We got to have a real big group, and a couple folks have just come alongside, I guess. Jesus talks about a yoke, take my yoke upon you. And if you study yokes, two oxen would walk alongside of each other, and together they could pull even more than an individual plus an individual. When they walked in tandem, they could pull, it was like 3 times as much. It's a very interesting concept. But when you're walking with people in alignment, going in a similar direction, it just makes everything exponential. So that's kind of how I've been grown, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So Lee, tell me this, what's one ritual or routine that has contributed greatly to your development of your mindset?
Good question. So I was thinking about this when I got prepped. I was going, what is that routine? So my family, we celebrate Sabbath, Friday night to Saturday night. So I take off work, I relax, I hang with the family. And Saturday morning, my wife and I do coffee. And we go sit out on our porch, because we live out in the country. We sit out on our porch, and all of our kids know that that's mom and daddy time. And my wife actually half the time helps me to get back in the right mind on some things. Because sometimes I'll be like, I was thinking about this and this. And she's like, baby, recorrect, So her wisdom and just the way she balances me out just is amazing, and it's just obviously God ordained, because she recenters me and refocuses me when I get kind of off kilter. So that's been truly a blessing.
Wives are a powerful gift, and I'm glad to be in that for that community now.
Exactly.
What business book do you cherish the most?
Right now, so I think I have like seasons of business books, right? Because like there's so much wisdom out there. Right now, I'm digging a book called Grace Over Grind by a lady named Shay Bynes. And the reason I say this season, that's the one I'm really liking, is it has reminded me to, and kind of taken a burden off of me, I guess I could say, that I want to be a kingdom-driven entrepreneur, and that he is walking along, Jesus is walking alongside me, and I don't have to hustle. I don't have to grind. This whole mentality of, grrr, I'm like, I want to work diligently, and I want to do work as unto him, and I want to work my best. But there is also, I think, a wrong mindset that says you have to grind this thing out and swim upstream and fight. And I'm going, you would have to read the book. It sounds kind of interesting, but the past month, I'll say it this way, the past month, I've had the most peace in business that I've had, and things are starting to snap and connect. Whereas I was trying to squeeze a round peg into a square hole and force. When you step back, give everything completely to him. As Christians, we talk about give our lives to him, but like, what about your business? Are you going to hand that over and just fully consume and let him take that and trust him with it? And that's where I'm vegging and chilling right now is on that one. Now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, hopefully I'll have absorbed that, and maybe the next thing will be coming along. But right now, that's where I'm kind of meditating.
Got it laying right over there. I'm looking at it right over my bookshelf.
Oh, there you go. She also has another good one called Doing Business God's Way. So both of them are short, smaller books, but powerful books.
Awesome. What's your favorite quote and scripture?
Quote and scripture, you said?
Yeah.
Quote, my favorite quote, I've not memorized it, but I've got it printed because it's long.
Okay. All right.
I actually had my children memorize it, and I gave them $20. My daughter is the one who's taking me up on this. My two boys, they will do it because I need to remind them. Anyways, long story short, they'll both do it, and they were both very excited, but life's just been hectic. But my daughter's memorizes it. It's Teddy Roosevelt said, the quote, "The man in the arena." I've got it here, though. I pulled it up, and I'll read it. It says, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." And I'm like, whoa, that is the business quote right there. That is anything. I mean, if you know anything about Teddy Roosevelt, he did like everything. I mean, he was an amazing dude. But my daughter has memorized that a little while back. She can still quote it. And I want my kids to know that. And we talk constantly about failure is not bad. Our culture teaches don't fail. Failure is good. What are we learning from it? And we want to fail as many times as possible so that we're learning, and fail fast and fail forward. But that is my favorite quote. Favorite scripture. So many of them. I think one of my favorite ones is being life and death being in the power of the tongue. I I've seen lives, especially in kids, snuffed out, and I've seen um, life be spoken into kids. And I can't remember who made the quote, but it talks about it's easier. I don't remember how it goes. It's easier to something a child than to repair a broken man, I think is how it says it. You may have heard it, but I work with a men's ministry, and we help repair broken men through the power of God. But so many broken men, they don't get their father's blessing. And when they don't get their father's blessing, that's when they try to show off and show that they're men. They try to show all these things, and and it's just they're trying to front because they're missing something. And so that speaking that life into somebody, I'm very careful these days when I speak negative things to people. And I try not to. I honestly try to edify and speak life, because I've seen the death that negativity causes. So yeah, that's kind of a lot, but
No, okay, that's totally okay. That's powerful. That's powerful. So Lee, tell us something about you that very few people know.
I got you. So most people aren't going to know this. I used to raise meat chickens. And we used to raise pastured chickens on pasture. And I built, at that time, 4 chicken tractors. And we had about, it was probably 2 or 3 acres that we raised them on. And the chickens got fresh grass every day. And we would move the chicken tractor, and they eat the grass, eat tons of grass. The best chicken you ever had. And then on the slaughter day or processing day, depending on how you want to word that, we processed, I think I processed 94, 96 chickens in one day. So I was the butcher and the dispatcher and everything. But yeah, so I have from chicks to dinner in the refrigerator. I've raised my own food. Processed it, killed it, processed it, and ate it. And I think anybody who eats meat, if you're going to eat meat, I think everybody should have to do that at least once. It puts things in perspective, definitely.
Awesome. Well, we probably have that in common. I grew up in a little town called Fort Necessity, and we reared chickens and so forth. Mm-hmm. And they could go from a chicken in the yard to a chicken in the pot in less than.
There you go. I hear you. I've got a picture of my kids and our neighbors' kids, and they're all holding chicken feet. Like it's like, because we had so many chicken feet. We actually boiled those down. I think we used them for broth, I think. But anyways, but yeah.
See those in the stores now, chicken feet. They're in the store.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Well, Lee, it's been awesome chatting with you. So now tell me this, if someone wanted to find you, how would they locate you?
Yep. You can go to simplevideoschool.com, and you can see more information. I got a free video series if you need to learn how to shoot more video content from your phone. If you're kind of new to that, got some information on there. I also have a course if you want to kind of go more A to Z in depth. You can find that there too. So simplevideoschool.com.
Awesome. Now, Lee, in closing out, now, is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you, or that you would like to share in closing out?
Anything that you didn't ask me? I think you asked me lots of good questions. I don't think so. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I think you asked some good ones there. So, I'm
gonna loop around.
Okay. Yeah.
Why is it important for you to do the millionaire status thing? Why is millionaire status important?
Can you expound on that? Why is the concept of millionaire status, or?
Yeah. Why is it important to become a millionaire, to be a millionaire, or why is wealth important?
Oh, gotcha. Well, I think I'm not of the opinion that there's a certain limited amount of pie. I think there's an unlimited amount of pie. So My opinion is that we should gather as much pie as possible so that we can do as many things with that as possible. So obviously, parents, I know you have a son, I think, and or maybe you have a son and a daughter, or is this two sons?
Two sons. Well,
Two,
actually, I have two sons and two bonus daughters.
oh, there you go. Okay. So you know how that is. And you know how a father wants to do great things and nice things for the kids. And then also, I think we also want to give to others and help those out through either education or charity or whatever. And it is there for the taking in a good way, but like we have the capability, and we're in a country and at a time when it is there if we will work smart and diligently for it. So it's almost as though if we just kind of don't, then it's almost like we're squandering something. So I kind of look at it as, you know, it's been given. If we want it, we just got to figure out how to go get it.
Yeah. Lee,
Yeah.
simplevideoschool.com.
You got it.
Simplevideoschool.com. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate your time. And I want to thank all of you all for viewing. The most expensive thing you'll ever pay is attention to the wrong people. Thank you, Lee.